Guys, welcome. We've been having a little fun behind the scenes. I've been picking on myself, and I guess I should just continue. But yeah, real quick, we're going to try to keep these things under 2 hours each week because of the fact that it does something weird at 2 hour mark, and then we can just frame it like if there's enough to talk about, we do another part, and we just keep this thing going. I kind of want to keep it going with all the guests that want to come back, and schedule it out like so we always catch up and stuff. So I don't want to look at it like this is a destination. I'd rather look at it like there's just really no end. So welcome back. TroyLee's with us. The man just got some new corals in. He was showing me some smooth love and got me all, got my heart jumping a little bit there.
Yeah,
And we haven't caught up since the holidays. So I hope you and your family y'all had a great holiday time, and the New Year's here, so delayed Happy New Year and stuff.
yeah, for sure. It's been different. New year, new life, new job, new everything. So
Totally.
we're
And we're gonna
going.
and actually we're gonna jump into all that today. So let's do that. Let's kind of frame it. I don't know if you're with your tank or not, but I'd like
Yeah,
to I'd like to talk to you about like how you've been doing with your tank, like how everything's been going, your frag system. I'd like to talk to you
like
about
that.
like any new changes you've been working on or things you're thinking about doing this year, and then your business that you're starting to set up. And then if you want to spend some time talking about like battle, anything battle related, any updates or anything going on out there in that sphere that that you're tapping into that you might want to bring forward. We can talk a little bit about that too, and then yeah, then just open it up and maybe take some questions. Hey, Rich, what's going on, brother? Safe. Hope you're safe there, man. Like it's gonna get chilly, so stay warm.
Yeah, it's
Um,
crazy out there.
Dude, it is.
So in
I
Minneapolis, like -50 or something. I'm like, wow.
Bro, and did you see they just did another update? And I mean, like, how are we even able to go live right now is crazy, but like the rest of the world like the rest of the country rather is like seriously, like there's only a few places out there in the country that aren't experiencing the wrath of this thing. I mean, we're gonna get a little bit, but nothing like what the northern, like
Yeah,
Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, all of that stuff, Texas, Lower Texas, Louisiana. Prayers to everybody. And then if above that, I guess there's some super cold stuff with some heavy snow, and they could get locked in. So prayers with everybody out there, man. Reefers and everyone alike. You know, I hope everybody's
sure.
prepared.
Yeah, that's definitely cold. I was talking to Adam and the guys the other day, and Jason was showing it's like 12 degrees or something in Alaska, and Adam's saying it's -19 in Wisconsin. I'm like, that is crazy. They're that much colder than Alaska. Like, you would never think that, but that's where it's at.
Yeah, that's yeah, I don't even know, like I can't even put words to it because I mean I was I've been talking. I kind of went back and forth with you remember Joe JBNY from
Um,
Long Island, Joe. That he was in the SPS forum back in the day. He just started his system up there, and on Long Island, he's doing like a new setup and stuff. So I'm going to
hey,
hopefully. He's old schooler. He's been tank of the month a couple of times. He's
yeah,
like one of those
I'm
dual
sure I
tank of the
would.
month. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, but when we talked for a minute, he's like, yeah, I'm on the island. The good thing is I'm insulated. And it's like, yeah, you're right. When you really think about it, he's out there surrounded by water. So like whatever the water temp is, it's really going to be that ambient temperature is going to kind of be what the water temp is.
Yeah, possibly. I'm surrounded by mountains and dirt. Vegas.
Yeah, I know. But see, you could have other weather related incidents that could also cause just as much gnarliness. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it doesn't mean that just because of, you know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
you could get something crazy. getting some places out in the West that typically get no water, get some like crazy water like out of nowhere. I know it wasn't really where you're at.
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
like
a
New
lot of
Mexico,
rain.
maybe.
Yeah, we get a ton of rain. We get flash flooding a lot. That's about the worst thing we'll get here. When it
Yeah.
rains, if we get an inch of rain, it floods everything everywhere. It's bad. It just doesn't suck it up. The ground just
Right.
spits it out and it keeps going. But we don't really get no extreme colds or anything like that. Was seen the other day that Golden State Corals lost their farm. They lost power and everyone was talking about it. And I'm like, think I've never lost power for more than an hour out here. I mean, it's not like we have natural disasters or anything. I mean, we could, I guess, but we haven't, thankfully. It's been
Yeah. I mean,
pretty chill. We get some bad thunderstorms that roll through. They'll bring in 80-mile-an-hour winds and knock down power lines, but they're back up and going within a couple hours at the most.
yeah, we're Florida, man. Like Central Florida is where I'm at, and it is just like it is almost like a it's almost like a funnel. It funnels them right through this area, all through, any parts of Central Florida. So, like, if you're getting a hurricane coming through the west, the east, from the north or south, you're gonna get something out of it. So, when you see these things, it's like, yeah, it's not really affecting us per se, but you get all the other stuff around it that comes through that just is, yeah, it's heavy. But anyway, we're hoping everybody knows to have those contingencies in place, in case. And when you're,
Yeah.
I think when you get to that place with your reef, with your collection, I think the next logical thing is like taking that next big purchase and making it for some sort of power redundancy. My buddy Matt's got a pretty enhanced system that he's built for barehanded, that he's kind of integrating as like a piece it together system, and he's like able to run the reef, his TV, and basically his living room and his entire reef right now for, I think it's last he said, I think 3 days before he gets into, to where he's depleting. Like,
That's
so
nice.
yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean,
I
at
have
broad girl,
solar on my house, but I don't have any batteries, backup batteries. I just don't have the room in my garage. It's kind of full of everything else. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have it just because even the extra power that I generate, I sell back for pennies on the dollar compared to what they charge me for it. But I don't know. And then I think about like all these Tesla cars that catch on fire and there's no way to put them out. I'm like, if I got all these batteries in my garage and those are things ever caught on fire, like what would they do? What do they do?
I,
I
you
don't know if
know,
it'd be a good
it,
idea
it's
or
a good
not.
It's a good question because, like, I mean, I know we're kind of going a different direction, which is totally
Yeah.
cool. Um, but you see those incidents where people's cell phones, with lithium ion batteries, how and I know we're talking about lithium phosphate here, but
Yeah.
we're only maybe a couple degrees away from sort of the same thing, and it's like, yeah, you just wonder about this combustion, and if it's given the right, if it's not QC'd out right, or if there's
Yeah.
any of these things, housing, crack in the housing, or any of those things. But it is, it's something I think is coming, but I don't know. I think there's probably better ways still, but
Yeah. Obviously, generators and stuff work fine. I know Adam had to use his. He's got two of the big gen packs or whatever they are. He got one in case one didn't work, and when he did have to use it, the one didn't work. His main system didn't work. The backup finally kicked on and saved him when he did need it. So
I guess it's all good as long as you have enough reserves to keep that going. If
yeah,
depending on how long that outage is. So those are the things I use. I've got a 4500 running watt, and I've got probably 7 full propane tanks, on the backside. And then I've got a burner for, like a single burner if I wanted to like cook something
correct.
that can
Yeah,
run on propane. But, I mean, it's like you go through a few hurricanes, you go through a couple of these, dude. You go through one or two or three or four or five of these things. Next thing you know, you
burn.
got portable ACs, you've got shit, man, because
Oh yeah, imagine.
yeah, I don't know if you've been to Florida
I haven't
Yeah, I mean it's
been out there.
same similar temperatures, right? But imagine like you feel like you're also like you're in the like a pot of boiling water at the same time. The humidity's just like
That's
yeah,
what
it's
I've
pretty
heard.
insane.
It's bad.
But you get used to it, just like anything else.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, let's jump into the update. So what's happening in your sphere?
Um, got a new job. Finally, not building signs and stuff no more. Change over to just straight fabrication, doing like high end furniture and stuff for the casinos and stuff like that. And then started up my own maintenance business. Finally got that off the ground. The website's done. Got a couple customers, nothing crazy yet, but hopefully that'll take off. And then I'll just be doing my own thing. I could do that full time and neglecting my tanks while all that's been going on.
Yeah, but I mean, you get these things to where they can almost finely tune and run, and I think sometimes maybe we get more in the way, and so I think the tank probably appreciates those periods, man. I think it gives it a chance to breathe, dude.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the frag tank in the garage, I was fighting those dinos for a while. I finally got rid of those, but now I got the hair algae popping up all over the damn frag plugs that I got to keep cleaning, which is annoying, but hey, whatever. It's part of the game.
It is, but it's like what's cool is like, you can remember that this is just a cycle. This is
Yeah, that's
that when that happens, that the next thing's gonna happen. Typically for me, I go to hair and then I go to bubble. And then now my newest thing that I've been fighting for a while is Ulva. And it's not even that big of a deal, dude. I mean, it really doesn't even bother me at all. It builds up, but I think it becomes a symbiont at some point in a processing aid in processing nutrients. So one of those things where I think once the corals are big enough to shade it out, I think it won't be
yeah.
as I think it'll lose some competition, if you will.
Yeah, it's just my OCD. Like I once a week almost, I take all the corals off of one rack, put them on another, go scrub it, clean it, put it back, move them over till all the racks are clean, and I'm over it now. I'm gonna let it do its thing. Quit fighting it, but it's different. It's actually bare bottom. I've never had a bare bottom system, so it's different challenges that I'm dealing with because there's stuff growing on the glass in the bottom. I got to keep cleaning and moving and
Yeah, sure.
testing me. It's different. Just like I mean, one of my maintenance accounts, it's a 400-gallon tank, and it's all this high end stuff and just so complicated. And then I'm over there, and it's like a chore to maintain that tank. And I'm like, man, what? It's just so overdone where I'm used to simplicity. Like my systems have nothing but a skimmer and live rock to run the whole tank. And then I top off with calc. But these tanks, man, they got all kinds of dosing heads and dual returns and UVs and crazy Bubble King roller mat thing from Germany. And I'm just like, man, and trying to tune all that stuff in at one time, especially by yourself, because it's sumping, everything's out in the garage and the tank's in the house. So you can't run back, got to run back and forth trying to dial in the flow or whatever. It's crazy. It's different. It's different challenges that I haven't had to face since I've been doing it because I always just set mine up as simple as I can go. And it's a whole different ball game now.
Well, I got to give you a little bit of credit here because this kind of mentality is converting over to not only into my reef but into the background of something I'm working on, and it really is that in a nutshell. It's what you just described. It is really literally that simple, and it's not even something that anyone has ownership of. It's not even a concept or anything. It's just an operating philosophy. It's nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Nature, and I'm just taking a little bit more angles and throwing them in. But other than that, it's really what you're already doing. And that's what's so cool is like, I talk to Alan and sort of like I see his natural progression and I see this happening with people who are starting to understand that. I think in some essence, there, if we take ourselves away from the reef sometimes and allow the reef to perform, sometimes that's what it's calling for, but we can't see it because we want to know, all right, I got to see it on a test. I've got to
Yeah,
quantify this. I need somebody to prove something to me. It's got to have, it can't, it goes against what I've been told. It's not right. I mean,
pretty
think about it.
much. Yeah,
And I think when we clear the noise, because I think that is a lot of noise, and we just clear the noise and let this get as simple as if you were a little kid and you wanted to, if you went to the beach and somebody handed you a glass box and gave you basically very much nothing, you would figure out a way to keep everything in that little thing alive, one way or
yeah,
another. If it meant you taking little buckets down to the water and bringing them back and changing it out, well, that's what you would do. And then when you
yep,
look at it from that simplicity, you can really bring this thing to where it is now. And then I think sometimes maybe it's a little bit more overcomplicated than it really needs to be.
it is. I've always preached that till everyone's asked me questions on reef to reef or whatever. I'm like, it's only as hard as you make. Reefing is as hard as complicated as you want to make it.
Hmm.
I mean, it's you can get by with super simple. Has always been my way, which always works. I mean, there's stuff I'll tweak. Some people might say I'm advanced, but I'm really not. Like I run it as simple from the books back in the day. The basic reef keeping. That's all I really do. I mean, I am tweaking with ammonia that I run, but I don't. I don't know with all this crazy testing and all this. Everyone's like, well, send in an ICP just to see or an aquabiomics. I'm like, for what? Then I'm going to chase something that's not broke because I'm going to see these numbers are all wrong. And then I'm going to be like, well, it could be better and start chasing and go down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. I mean, I don't have any problems with what I do. So I'm just going to keep it the way it is.
Yeah, and I think is that how you're framing artistry? Is that pronouncing it correctly, by the way?
Yeah.
Artistry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Artistry.
Artistry. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got to do any setups or anything yet. Hopefully that comes in the future. But yeah, I want to keep it as simple as possible. It's a real challenge to me. Like the tank that the 1 400 gallon that I was talking about earlier. It's been up for like 7 years, and he had some other maintenance guy running it, so he doesn't know too much about the system. And then I'm just walking into it blind and trying to
Yeah.
reset it, but not reset it, but simplify it and bring it up to par because it hasn't been able to keep corals for a long time. And I threw a couple digis and stuff in there. They seem to be doing fine right now. I mean, I only go see it every 2 weeks, so I'll know more when I go over this week because they've been in there for about a month now and see what's going on with it and keep making little tweaks. I don't want to upset it because every tank, no matter what you do, it'll balance itself out over time. And I don't know how long that thing was neglected, so I don't want to go in and make a huge change and just destroy the tank or crash it. So it's a really slow process with this one. If I had my hands on from setting it up till whenever it's done, I mean, I think I could do it fairly quick. But these older systems, it's a challenge for me. I gotta play it from different angles that I'm not used to, but it's working so far.
I mean, to a lesser extent, man, like I don't want this to come off salty, but it's sort of a form of technical gatekeeping. It's a way of establishing a system where the only people who are going to be able to integrate or flow into that system are going to have to go through that gate of whoever created that system in order to make that work. And this is
Yeah.
like exactly where I'm trying to go away from in my career and my reaping habits is I want to be completely transparent and fluid in everything I do so that it doesn't come off as this way of ownership, applied ownership. That's just my thing. I mean, I don't think that should be for anyone or everyone. But what I'm saying
No,
here
and I
is
mean, like in
you
that instance, it's not like that other service guy was like a handoff, like, here, this is what I used to do, this is how the system was going, and but there's nothing. It's like going into a blind and not trying to disturb it, but make it better. It's a challenge, and I like it. That's what I'm always up for, a challenge. And
it
so
does
I'm
sound
learning a
fun.
lot myself. What's that?
I said it sounds fun, I mean
It is.
actually it sounds like a challenge, something to wrap your mind around.
It is more homework, more research, and Like his sump was stuffed. His 220-gallon sump, it was stuffed with Chaeto from left to right. I think they were running like the Triton method or something. They had a huge fuge on it. They had all these biospheres, and then he's like, "Well, I did a ICP a couple years ago," and he's like, "It said 10," and I'm like, "Well, it's probably those, but those aluminum balls have been in there for like 7 years or something," and I'm like, "Well, they probably already leached everything they're gonna leach." Because that guy with the other guy, he told me he was changing like 200 gallons at a time. I'm like, I don't know how your system ever stabilized. It was like a 50% water change every 2 weeks. I think it was just too much. It was shocking everything. I haven't been changing nearly as much water because the nitrates, I can't even get those up. They've been stuck at zeros. Phosphates are like zero point 0.1, but the nitrate's been at zero forever because of all the Chato in there. I got half of that out and I got them up to like 1 or 2. And if I can't get them up any higher, I have to start dosing nitrates or ammonia or something. But he doesn't really have any corals in it. Like I say, there's only 2 or 3 corals, and there's a Gorgonian in there, sea fan or whatever, and that's
Mhm.
it right now. Bunch of fish.
If there's a bunch, yeah, I mean, if there's a bunch of fish, I mean, yeah, I think you could probably mitigate that problem fairly easy just through, maybe through feeding,
Yeah.
where you could guide those nutrients slowly. But you're going to have to probably in that instant, not to jump in, but maybe peel a little bit of Chato back periodically and work on
Oh
cutting the
yeah.
photocycle slowly, and let the biology respond, instead of
Yep.
trying to go in and force it into your method, allow the
No,
method
yeah,
that's
for
currently
sure.
in place, and let it transition over time into the way that you do things.
Yeah.
Hey Joe, what's going on, brother? That's uh
Fine.
that's Joe that just entered
Okay.
the field too. So welcome to him. But yeah, man, like that sounds like such an amazing opportunity too. I know it's busy, I know it's a lot of work, but if you look at it from man, based on what you're telling me, you don't have anywhere to go but up. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
so
for
that's
sure. Exactly. It's fun. It's just I feel like I need a lot more hands on with it right now because I'm like everybody else. I want it today, and you can't have that. And I'm only over there twice a month, so every 2 weeks I go over there for 4 or 5 hours and work on it. But I got the whole back end of the system, the heart and everything clean and going now. So I just got to focus more on the display and get those nutrients right, and we'll see where it goes from there. But seems to be doing okay so far.
so how does the overall like does it seem like aside from sort of like that, I mean the photo cycle, the type of ability to provide light pretty good, and as far as the things in place for flow, like your basic
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
is
yeah.
it good?
It's got 6 MP60s on there, but only 4 of them are running, which is fine. It's way more than enough flow in there. So it's not a lot of rocks in there. It's 10 Radeon Exxon XR30s over it, which I think's overkill. But and that was my last chore over there when I was playing with him because his wife's like, "Well, no, they're on at 5 in the morning," and I finally got into the schedules because I couldn't. Everything was in somebody else's name, so I got into all those, and 2 of the lights aren't connected to Wi-Fi, so they're not shutting off. They're
Uh,
staying on all night burning. So that's why she sees the lights on at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no, they don't come on until 8:45 according to your schedule. And she's like, no, they're up. It's blue when I get up at 5. And I realize that the lights are stuck on. I'm like, oh great.
Oh man, yeah. So, and and like I'm trying to do some back end stuff as far as lighting interplays into the overall microbiome and the holobiont zone and what that all means as far as microorganisms and deficiencies in their populations and how that plays into full spectrum lighting, yada yada yada. And when you have these ripples unbeknownst to you in the photo period, I know it seems like, oh, I'll get over it, it's no big deal, but no, it actually is a big deal. And I'm not saying don't ever interrupt your photo cycle for viewing, but I would say if you could limit it personally, I think if you can keep that in a harmonic rhythm as far as the photo
Yeah.
period goes, long term, you'll probably yield some really good results. Um, so yeah, so that you don't even know with that light misbehaving like that, what that could have done to the overall thing.
Yeah. No, I know.
You know? Yeah.
I'm
So
sure. I don't know. I've seen recently people playing with like on the Reef Breeders, the app. there's a lot of people post their, can't even say the damn word now, their schedules. And you'll see
Right,
them
right.
up and down like the clouds rolling in and out all day. And then I've seen people now doing that with an aqua whiz, which I'm not even too familiar with, but I've been seeing them a lot recently. And it's showing like the photo inhibition of the corals. So then it drops the lighting down, and then you'll see the alkalinity usage go up, and they're kind of like three on, three off, three on, three off with the whites and the lighter brighting, like the intensities, and
Mhm.
it's showing more alk usage. So which means the corals are accepting it better and growing better. But I'm not that far advanced with all that stuff. I just kind of burn my metal highlights for 4 hours, and I burn the LEDs for
You
12.
know, so here's the thing. I think what we're looking at is if you want to extend out your photo period over the course of 12 hours, 13 hours. So, like with what I'm working on, my photo period starts in on December 21st. My photo period began at 12 hours. Every
Yeah.
week it increases by 3 hours overall, the total photo period. When we get to June 21st, that's the longest day of the year, it will have increased roughly 1.3 total hours, bringing me to around 13 and a half, just shy, just south of that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's sort of adding another layer of working with the direction, the way the sun comes up, sun comes down. It's
yeah,
it's a simulation. I think cloud cover from a photosynthetic and if you intertwine plants in, I think what that is, just so you know, it's DLI, which you're familiar with probably, like in some way, shape, or form. It's
a
your
little bit. Yeah,
yeah, it's your total daily light integral. What you can what your total photoperiodism that any plant can receive in a given 24-hour photo cycle. So if your par is super super heavy, you're going to probably benefit by having micro breaks, because what's happening is the corals, if they're getting enough food and they're under
yeah,
such intense light, they're respirating, they're breathing, literally like our lungs, right? But that's the microbiome. And what's happening is they're getting enough of a break that they can recover. And so it's a real, what you're seeing is the alkalinity. You're seeing the recovery. Like literally what Alan's bringing forward is he's proving with the Aqua Whiz, like literally showing what is going on, because he's worked on this way of having so much food in his system by
yeah,
creating so many spawns and micro spawns and so much diversity, and just continuing to pump microbiology, that because he's like leaning so into microbiology, the system is now sort of finely tuned, and so it's feeding perpetually.
oh
And if
yeah,
you think about these organisms, they feed when it's daylight, they're feeding. When it's
yeah,
nighttime, they just switch their mechanism of feeding. That's all it
yeah,
is.
yeah, for sure. Different filaments are out. I've actually fed phosphates and stuff at nighttime when they're all fluffy and looking happy. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I get the feeding responses all day during the day because I feed them a lot with Rod's food. Every time I put it in, everything just slimes up. They love it. So I've been using that every day. It's expensive, but it's good stuff. It's probably, talking to Alan, was the krill in there, like the fatty acids and everything. Like,
Right. Yep.
sticks are loving it. So I haven't done that at lights out, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
I think it's if you just break it down nutritionally, it's just that the fatty acids and lipids are more of the organic material, sort of like what detritus is. It's just broken down organics, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that's the animal behavior of the coral during the nocturnal, or the diurnal, the nighttime phase, is where there's a different level, a trigger that happens where they feed more from the animalistic side. So, you know, if you can put if you have the ability to include that, I use like Coral Vitalizer right now. I'm going to probably migrate over to his stuff, Alan's concoction,
Yeah.
moving forward, because it's probably going to be more in line with what I'm trying to accomplish. But I use the Coral Vitalizer, which I don't know what it is, right? We don't, but I
Yeah.
can tell you that when I smell it, if you've ever made any ferment, you can pretty much pick up on it real quick that it's a fermented something. And then when it smells like dead fish, fermented, that's when you can really start to hone in on probably the nature of it, what it is. So it's probably in that ballpark. It's that fatty acid, lipids,
Yeah.
omegas, all that fun stuff, right? That highly nutritious diet. But anyway, so your reefs are running really good, man. Like the
Yeah.
display.
Yeah, we can go take a look at it.
So as you're walking there, man, like I remember last time we spoke, you have a diamond goby, right?
A pair.
Yeah, and so I think that you know I love the idea of sand, and you might be surprised that if you don't see sand in my system real soon. Um,
Yeah.
I can't even. I'm at the point where the protein skimmer is about to go off since I've sort of migrated over to nothing, and
Um,
I don't even have a filter. So I don't have anything at this point, dude. I'm not running carbon, bacteria. I'm feeding 4 times a day, several different foods, and my nitrates and phosphates they're not there. I can't get them,
yeah.
and it's feeding, feeding, feeding. So what I'm recognizing is I'm having to take skimmer breaks myself.
There you
But the
go.
whole idea is that your sand sifters are the diamond head, right? Is
Yeah.
is
Where
is
they at? Oh,
bringing
there's
all of
one.
that nutrition into the water column, and your corals probably just are feeding all day long. I mean, that's what I'm gonna
Probably.
take.
There's one of them. Where I don't know where the other guy is. Oh, he's over here.
Oh yeah, man. I love their personalities.
Oh, they're
Your
super
tank has a
cool.
canopy, right?
No,
No, it's
but I
open.
have a mesh on it. I have a lid.
Oh, okay. Because I've
Yeah.
had those jump on
I
me
got
before,
the.
man.
Yeah, no, they are. They're definitely jumpers. When I do the mag float in there, they get scared and they'll fly around the tank.
Yeah, it's looking good, man. Your
There's a
tank look
burrow in there. Yeah,
tank
it's a
looks
mess
sweet,
right
man.
now, but
No, I
it's
mean,
going.
look. Hey, can you go back up to the top? That blue, what was that blue coral? Was that a stag of some sort in the middle?
Oh, that
Right.
one?
Oh, right
Yeah,
there.
that's like it's an old school. They call it a blue slimer around here. I don't know. It's bluish purple. It's really blue in person. It looks more
Bro,
purple what I can see right now on the screen.
God,
It's an
I
old
just can
stag.
you come back towards me like and give me a little bit more of that table? Like give me a bit more in the picture with that. Oh my God, that's what I want to see right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely, dude. That is absolutely lovely. The way
Yeah,
the stag
so
is perching and peering through, and then you
yeah,
can see the other stag and the green slimer,
yeah,
and you've incorporated two slimers together with that table shooting out, and then in all the colors and the formations, the diversity in that's really pretty, man.
yeah. I
It's
need to
really
get a
pretty.
red one to put over here, but there's a lot of red in this tank. Like you can probably see it. So I don't know if it'll focus
Yeah,
right
look at
on
that.
there.
Some people reds just do well, man. Like I'm one of those red and pinks for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they always overwhelm my systems.
Yeah, that's actually a PC rainbow back there. I don't
Nice.
know what this massive red table is, and then there's another PC rainbow that's exploded over here. The old tricolor. That's a big, huge Bill Murray, which is getting out of control. The old F flow over there is actually battling with the red table. I think that's the Becker tort. That's an old school tort. That's the Miyagi tort. They've been getting blasted by this MP40 right here. I just switched to.
Is that a
I-
Hawkins right there? That
No, I think
teal.
that's the Becker tort.
Okay. Oh,
It's
no, just
old
I was
school
seeing that
tort.
teal color. Okay. No, no,
Yeah.
I couldn't see the growth pattern with my eyes, but I could see teal in it, and it just I'm like, oh,
Hawkins back here.
okay,
The Nim's been wiping it out. The
man.
Nim's been crawling in there.
It happens. They get
It
so
does.
big and pretty, and then all of a sudden it's just like you fart and like they don't like it.
It
You
actually
know?
split like a week ago. It was huge. It was massive. It was a good 12, 13 inches across. It split. And then the other one went on the warpath, came over here, killed a bunch of stuff, and then got sucked up into the MP40. And that was the end of its days.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know, I mean,
that
it's
stupid thing.
there's yeah, I mean, with those you're gonna, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a risk, it's a sweet sour thing, man,
it
That's what
is.
it is. There
It's
ain't no
fine.
right or wrong.
No, I knew what I was getting into when I put it in here. I'm actually surprised it was still alive because it went through a gyre a long time ago and I thought it was gone. And like a month later, I seen a little red speck on the sand one day, and I'm like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, it's still alive." And it came back, and then I got the clowns, and they beat it to death, and it
Uh,
disappeared. And then it came back, and once I started dosing ammonia, that thing blew up. It got so big so fast.
hey, Rich wants you to show the pearlberry. Give us
Yeah.
some, give us old acro heads some freaking pearlberry love, dude. Hell yeah. Oh man. Goodness gracious
So
almighty.
good.
Look at the
It's
growth formation
about
too, man.
7 inches
Beautifully
wide
done.
right now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's you know what that is? That's more food for your acropora.
Yeah.
That's all that is. That's food. That's food holding in flux, waiting for you to swipe.
Everything's
Oh yeah, I love those. Man, I love those. The mushrooms down there, man.
jawbreakers.
Yeah,
The
the
two big
jawbreakers.
ones at the top, they got all four colors in them finally.
Oh, dude, for real? Can you
Yeah.
get in on it, or is it kind of too hard to zoom in?
I don't know. I can't
Yeah, I
see
mean,
because
you
my
could. I
screen
can
is
see.
so
It
tiny.
normally happens like in this, like near the central part, right?
Yeah, it's got purple. Actually, the purple's around the outside. That one back there, you can't see. I'm pointing at my screen like a retard, but you can see the green back in there, and then there is a couple few purple specks on that one. These fish are all into the way. They're hungry.
It's always like that, bro. It's all good.
I
They're
know.
just trying to
I
get some
feed them
attention.
10 times a day, and they still act like they're hungry.
Look at how big they are, man. They're so freaking chunky, dude. What are you feeding those big guys?
They get broads, and then I do frozen mysis and frozen brine, and then the omega one marine flakes
Mhm.
and nori here and there.
Yeah, they're
Oh, they
well
love.
fed. You can tell
Oh yeah,
they're well fed. That's good though, man. I mean, you can't even. I would kill for your fish waste right now. Where I'm at. I would
oh,
if you
man,
could
these
like somehow bottle that
tanks chase each
and
other around and just eat it. It's recycle. They eat to recycle each other.
it's the way it's supposed to be though.
Yeah.
Like when you have that one dog that goes and eats it, the other dog's poop, if you happen to
Yeah.
have two, and then you realize like what it's doing is it's just cycling more nutrients through. It's like
I know
I
it's
know it's
weird.
gross, but it is what it is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
there
what these
there's
guys
some
do.
who's the master like so
Him,
which Tang runs it?
this one.
Yeah, the
He's supposed to
Naso.
be the gentle giant, but he ain't.
See, the
Yeah.
hippo, the blues sometimes can come with a little bit of a sketchy attitude too, but then so can the
Uh,
sailfin. So it's like, man, you've got a lot
yeah.
going on there.
The Selfin and the gym, they fight a lot, but then big guy rolls in and then they all chill out and he tries to fight me all day. That's what he wants to do right now.
Uh, Rich said, Perry, I'll ship you a 2-liter bottle of Skimmate. Hey, Rich, if you're listening, believe it or not, I do sometimes dose Skimmate. I mix it in to a slurry that I make to feed corals. So no doubt, man. And then I actually use it for my plants and everything else. But that's a more of a regenerative topic. But anyway,
I
yeah,
dose
man, freaking.
I dose it all the time on accident because I forget to change it or empty it and it overflows and then my sump's a bubble bath and here we go.
So now we're
That's
going to. So
yeah,
we're
we're out
walking
in the
into
garage.
the So now do you have equipment underneath that system out there, or is it all flow out here?
This is a separate system. It's all by
Okay,
itself.
that's what I thought. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's
I just
got its
wanted to
own skimmer and
do me a favor,
20
bro.
gallon.
Go in on that skimmer.
I just emptied it before we did
No, no, I
this.
just want to see that right there. So, like, yeah, I know we only have 7 people looking right now, but in the future, people might watch this. This right here, this is kind of what I'm going for. And I don't know if you did this on purpose, but when I see my protein skimmer, that's what I'm trying to set it up to look exactly like where
I keep
it
it
is.
dry.
It's dry, but it's always collecting, and the head never breaks. So yeah, excellent. I just wanted to see that. Thank you. Geek out a
Yeah,
little bit.
no worries. Let's see if I
So
should.
yeah, look at this. So this system is separate. Is this being
Yeah,
dosed
this is its
separately?
own. Yep,
Okay.
setup right there. It's got the calc top off. It's got a trident that does the testing because I'm lazy. Ammonia
Okay.
and all for Reef, which is empty, and then I'm running A and K on this one, like 5 milliliters daily of each, just because I'm not really running the all for Reef. This one's been pretty stable on calc by itself. Let's see here. Bunch of torches. We've been doing well. I had a couple brown jelly. I started freaking out, but it stopped. Everything went away. And there's all the sticks. These ones been doing really good.
Whenever I'm experiencing any kind of weirdness, it's even with algae. I've been using a little bit of rebiotic, and it just some reason it just goes in and sort of brings things back into harmony. So just a little tip for you to throw into your tool bucket.
Yeah, when I was fighting those dinos, I was using the UV and the Zeo back, and it was keeping it at bay. It just wouldn't go away. And then I went to Coral Farmer Market. Tyree and Tony were here from Reef Raft, and they had a little show at the Orleans Casino. And I went over there, and they gave me a bottle. When you walk in, they give you a bottle of Reef Nutrition Phyto. I've never dosed Phyto into any of my systems, and I was like, "What the hell?" I dumped it in here, and then that seemed to be like the nail in the coffin, and it went away. My dinos left after that.
Yeah,
So I don't know
it's
if it's
it's
something
it's
I'll put into my routine or not, but it seemed to work pretty good. These ones are
it's
looking killer.
those it's those competitive spaces. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's a there's a big competition that you can't see that's going on inside of there, and sometimes that one little thing can be the link, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, it's crazy. Weird fish
Man,
still.
look at colors are looking good. So you
Yeah.
recently got an import in, right?
I got some at wholesale. I haven't actually imported
Oh,
anything. I
okay.
don't know. Yeah, those
You
are the
just
ones
got
you're talking about.
some maricultures. Look at that.
These ones I believe are wilds.
Oh, even better. Hard to find wild corals anymore.
Yeah,
A
there
lot of
is
people are
some
scared
in
of
here
them,
with
but
mariculture, but I'm not. This one was. I know that one was wild.
ah,
It's got a couple acro crabs still in there. I don't know if you can see
oh
them. There's
man,
two of them in there chilling.
if you can get them to breed and then you can somehow like farm those things,
I know. I
that
wish
is
I could find them
that's
to buy them.
gold,
I would throw them in my display.
bro. You can't buy them. Like if I could
No,
buy those crabs, those symbiotic crabs, dude, I would be on acro crabs. Man, these are the things that I don't know. Not to
oh, there's one
glide
in
off
there.
course, but man, do people really not realize what it used to look like to look inside of your acro and see this little weird thing, be freaked the heck
Yeah,
out, and then to go find out that it's actually a harmonious symbiotic creature living there? Like,
yeah.
where are we at? Because we're so sterile, dude. People don't even know what that is anymore, man. And that is like,
I
God,
know.
man, I could just
Funny.
stare, like seriously, dude, I could stare at that for hours, just watching them for hours.
You can kind of see him down there. He is. There's actually a pair in this one chilling in there.
Oh my God, if you could somehow get them to just, if I don't know, man, like make some more,
I,
that'd be
yeah, I don't
awesome.
know. There's only three in here I know that came in on the colonies.
I guess
When I
in
was
time,
tipping
you
them,
never
they
know.
popped out. There was a gorilla crab and one of the millies. He had to go, and then there was three of the acro crabs. That one came with two. This one's got one somewhere. He's hiding in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's not
it's
really
a
moving
part
around.
it's a part we just have to adjust to, and get used to. But the aquaculture is what it is going to be. But
Yeah,
it's good to fawn back, to go back in time and just remember the days of that sort of being more of a norm, like back in the day. you know,
yeah.
Had-
I was way cool back then.
yeah, man. I was
I haven't had any of those in my systems in years, and then these ones came in. I'm like, well, I know these ones weren't because everyone's like, oh, if you get mariculture and this and that, if they don't have acro crabs, they've already been picked through and this and that. And these ones had the crabs in them, so I'm like, all right, well, I know they haven't been picked through yet because people place orders and then they switch them at the airports or do whatever. I don't know. I'm new to all that.
yeah, I've had to go out and do a couple pickups for live animals at the airport before.
It's
It can
looking
be
cool.
challenging. That is gorgeous, man.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
that
even know
some
what
sort of a
species
smooth?
it is. Yeah, it's a
Well,
smoothie.
yeah, it looks like a smooth skin.
This one's a pink one.
Oh,
Let's
goodness
go
gracious.
through here.
Do you
Yeah, it's
know
hard to see 'em.
did they know the region that these things were coming in from?
I don't know if I believe these are Indo. I don't think they're Malaysian. They might be Malaysian. I'm not positive.
That one you showed me gave me like sort of this Malaysian, almost this jaw dropper kind of vibe. I think you shared it with me.
That was
Um,
that one.
yeah, that one right there is that's something special right there. In
Yes.
time, that could do some different stuff. I mean, you can tell it's how long have you had it in the system now?
About a month.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still alive. So you know what? That's
Oh yeah, it's doing well.
that's a good thing. Yeah, man.
This system has been crazy. I've bringing in some wild stuff and mariculture, and then just having a ton of my own stuff in here, and nothing has died except for that one right there, the Oregon tart of all, like the old school piece that died, and then everything else has been doing great. I mean, the pulp extension on everything's insane.
That's
They're
pretty right
happy.
there. Is that some
Yeah,
sort
that
of a
one's
millie right there or
yeah,
tenuous?
that's a millie.
Yeah, my eyes are
That one's a
forgive
millie.
my eyes. Um,
They're all good.
the reflection. Oh God, look at that thing,
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
dude.
That one's like neon
Yeah.
orange. There's like a neon green, yellow one.
Oh my
That one
God.
right there has been my favorite. That one.
Yeah, man. When down the line, man, you just tell me if you're cutting, because
Yeah,
yeah,
this
that's the
one's pretty
kind
wicked
of stuff
too.
that I really dig. Oh man, that is sweet.
This one's
Is
like
that a yellow and blue freaking?
it's like orange with purple tips. I don't know. I've It's the brightest one in the tank, and
Oh
it's like
my,
a true orange.
look at that. Yeah, this is a total geek out session today, dude. This is the highlight. I mean, not
That
that I
one's
don't
cool.
enjoy your time, dude, but
Yeah, no, that's
oh
cool.
man, these corals are
Tennis
insane.
are over here. These ones still need to color up some. This one, I think, the one with the crabs is going to be pretty cool. It reminds me of a PC Rainbow, but it's got a lot of orange in it. It's changing. When I got it, it was just like a deep red.
It's got a little bit more girth to it too.
Yeah, no,
It
it's
looks more
thick.
stubby to me than a like PC Rainbow tends to be more
Yeah,
snaggish, but yeah.
yeah, because I got a bunch of frags of that right there. They're just long and skinny.
Yeah,
This
I've got
little
one that's
millie's
looking
kind of
pretty
cool.
too.
That little
I've got a
one's
PC Rainbow that's looking pretty right now, and I mean, when I look at it, I'm like, another one of those corals in the hobby that if you get it under the right light, you can
oh yeah,
get you can get every single color. Like, and when you do, I don't know. I don't care what acro you want to throw. You can't really like it's almost in
I've
its own
never
lane.
been able to pull the blue on there that Sonny always talked about, pulling the blue on the
It's
bases. I
there.
get the green and the orange and the gold and the red, but I've never seen the blue.
Yeah, right now I've got all of those colors equally represented in this coral, all like almost equally, except that last color, the purple, blue. Um, I believe that's in the axial is where you see that mainly.
Yeah, this one, these got some purple. I don't know if you can see it from the top. It's hard to see right now. The yellows are still on, or the whites are still on, but these have purple in the tips. They haven't really encrusted. I just cut these off the colonies in the house. But in the house,
And
obviously, where they're shaded, they're all neon green and orange and cool looking.
so
Those
this frag tank is that's being lit by the halide or the reef breeder.
it's got
Halide.
reef breeders and halides. So
Oh,
there's
it's both. Okay.
there's the halides are off right now. They already did their
And
4 hours today.
your mineral plan, your are for both systems, you sort of use don't you use mainly just kalkwasser?
Yeah, that's all. This tank's running basically on calc. That's why I'm running the A and K down here
Uh-huh.
because I'm
Now are
so
you
used to the all for reef in the house and it's doing so well. This tank I do dose all for reef, but only like 10
uh-huh.
milliliters a day, just because calc's keeping up by itself. So no reason to
Yeah,
really push it.
I would definitely do that. I would make your increments more on the calc side and try to find a happy
Yeah,
place for the alpha reef. The only problem when you start making incremental changes, you're messing with the trace elements, and
yeah.
that can sometimes lead to other issues. So in
I've
small
never,
doses, probably fine.
yeah, I've never really dosed traces or anything. This is the first time I'm dosing them is on this tank.
With
Just
alpha
because
reef,
I'm
right?
running a strict. No, I'm dosing A and K, Tropic Marin right there. It's almost
Oh,
empty.
you're doing yeah. Yeah,
But
be careful of those, man. Like I've had some weird incidents and I can't it's anecdotal, but I can't say that for sure. But it seems that a couple smoothies were not really happy with those inputs. So just keep your eye on that. Now you have
yeah, I'm
way
only
more volume
dosing
to work with.
5 milliliters a day of each. But I don't know. I don't even know if it's making a difference because I don't do ICP tests. I don't test anything. I mean, everything's growing, everything's fine. So I'm just leaving it for now. But
Are you
the one in
mediating?
the house tank, the display's running 200 milliliters a day of all for reef. So I know it's getting a lot of trace elements out of there,
Uh-huh.
but the calc just can't keep up in there. I'm actually dosing 200 milliliters of all for reef daily, topping off with 3 to 4 gallons of calc, and I'm dosing like 20 milliliters of hydroxide at nighttime to keep the alk up in between 8 and 9, or it drops down in the low sevens.
Funk Starfish, welcome. I know Joe's out there. Joe said only get them on wild corals. My wife always asks, why can't we get them anymore? Referencing were they commensal crabs, right? I mean, or acro crabs. I think they're acro crabs, or they might be. I don't know. Whatever. It
Actors,
doesn't really
the
matter.
little bandana guys.
Yeah, the ones that are yeah that like if you had them for sale, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to keep them in stock once people figured out how amazing they
Yeah,
are.
they'd be cool. I'd buy 100 of them and throw them in my display.
No acropora eating flatworms, no pests, no nothing.
You know, I in nature, that's got to be their role. I mean, that's what they do. They protect them corals, and
Thanks,
if
Joe.
something's dying, they probably eat the bad flesh or whatever. They keep them healthy. It's their home. I mean, they got that relationship like the clowns with the nymphs, and they feed them and do whatever. And it's part of
Hmm.
this way it rolls. Get
Gotta love nature, dude. You know, like
this.
I'm a nature enthusiast, so you know, like it means a lot to me. So when I see, you know, these signs in life, not necessarily just reef related, but I see these symbiotic relationships occur in nature, and when you start seeing them, the crazy thing about it, dude, is you start seeing it everywhere,
Yeah.
and then that's when you realize there's something bigger. and it's greater. And you know, it's to me, it's amazing because the reef sort of brings me back into that space, you know. And when I see these things like colorful corals and happy
Mhm.
fish, and you know that there's something good that's going on in there. So yeah, great job, man. Even in your
Right
frag
there.
system, your corals look great in the frag system, and it's a separate system.
Yeah,
Um,
I was scared, man. After there's a
I
fish
would
you don't
be
see too often is a green chorus wrasse. I wanted to put him in the display, but they're bullies, so he got to come out here by
the
himself.
green
He's
one is
hiding now. Yeah, I
really
got a
okay.
wrasse in here in case there's flatworms or anything, and then the two tangs, but they don't really graze on the algae unless I turn the flow off. They don't like being up there with all the acros and getting blasted around. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
hiding in
I
the back
mean,
corner.
but you know, that's the cool thing about when you do have that frag set up like that. I always was digging how cool it was, what was going on underneath the rack. So I mean, I
Nice.
would kind of trip out just on some of the shit that would be going on underneath the rack. You know,
Oh yeah.
like
I mean, there's a bucket of sand that the wrasse lives in. There he is.
right, okay,
He's hiding. Probably need to
very
refill it. He
cool.
keeps making a mess out of everything. Yeah, that's cool. No, but I had so much success with that display. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to duplicate that again. And I set this tank up out here. I took two rocks out of that display, threw them in here with like 100 pounds of dry rock that I acid washed. And within 3 or 4 days, I started moving sticks in here or there, and everything was doing great. And I'm like, all right, well, it's full system ahead, and never looked back. Run at
Bro,
the
I've
same
got
rate as that one.
some rock from like 15 years ago that's been sitting in my garden and getting rained on and all that shit.
Yeah,
And I was thinking about buying new rock for when I do this next display that I'm going to work on. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to treat it, man. I'm going to run it through a
yeah.
series of muriatic
I got
acid
a
baths
bunch
and
right here. These two totes I picked up from a guy. I traded him some coral. There's about 200 pounds of rock in there. I was gonna cycle it with this tank, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to disturb it. It's doing so well. Like I was gonna add another bin and just put a pump and use that rock with this system. Then if I set up somebody's new tank with my company or whatever, I would have the live rocks to get there going and started. But I don't know if I
see.
want to disturb this. I don't know if I want to add 300 or 300 pounds of more rock to this and then have it upset something and start over. It's doing too well.
So here's what I would recommend, bro. It's like how I was thinking about this today, man. I my tank is doing well, but I think it can go to another level and I can get it to really become what I've envisioned it through adding sand. And I'm going for, you know, this just this ecosystem like the symbionts that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
And I've decided that I'm just going to incrementally, I'm not going to go and do anything crazy, man. I'm going to take maybe 2 or 3 cups, measuring cups of sand because I'm working with a lot less
Yeah.
water. But I'm going to take that and just sprinkle it in where I want it, and sprinkle it in, and I'm going to start with with a heavier grain sand. And then in time, I'm going to then come through, and then I'm going to start layering in some smaller grain. But I'm going to start with like a crushed coral. Alan recommended Reborn, but I don't know that I'm a little nervous. But you know, then he said, "Well, it leaches phosphate," and I'm like, "Oh, maybe so. I could use it." No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'm kind of
I know
hesitant
Lewis
on
runs
using
that.
that. Pardon?
Lewis, Acro Killer, he runs that Reborn in his. I don't know. I've been tempted to put sand in this frag system. I was worried about it getting blown around, but I'm like, I got that cup in here, the little bowl for the wrasse, and he knocks it all over the ground and it's not moving. It just seems it's easier for me. I mean, I'm going insane. You probably can't see because all this algae is building up underneath, and I keep cleaning it. And I'm just like, man, if I had sand, I could throw a couple diamond bars in here, and they would clean it up, and I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. What's your photosynthetic period on that? Do you know
These,
your rise and downtime?
yeah, the meridians come on at 7 a.m. They go off at 8 p.m. It's like 13 hours.
Right.
The
Okay.
metal highlights are running for 4 hours at the peak in the middle.
You may benefit by throttling your overall photo period and upping your peak photo period,
Yeah.
and then laying off on your edges, like bringing your par severely down on your edges, and then just try to give that 5 intense or 4 intense, and then round your edges a little bit more abruptly, and then
I know. I'm thinking that I need to add because when I look at those schedules on there, I look at everybody's schedules just because I'm curious, and everybody's is so different. So many different things, like fifth alarm corals, I think it is. Theirs has got a peak like every hour, but it's only for a couple minutes. And then it dies way back down like 40%. It goes up to 100%, 40%
Mhm.
all day throughout the day. And I'm like, I don't know the difference. I haven't really played with it that much. I've always been an old school guy with like the metal highlight. You turn them on, you turn them off. But with all these new LEDs, you can play with all that. And I have those options. I've just never tried it. And I don't know if it would make a difference or not. But
Well, see, here's the thing. It's probably okay if you can build that into a normal thing, but if it's not going to be consistent, that could probably have
yeah,
more deleterious effect. So whatever lane you choose, your corals are going to build. That's what this quorum sensing that I'm trying to do a deeper dive into. This is an intelligence that forms sort of like a mycelia network, which is the rhizosphere of the soil. It's a fungal communication network, and it's dude there it's as fast, if not fast, it's faster than fiber optics. It's it's this it's a nature's fiber optic network, and it's already been studied. And so if it's a microbiome related thing, please open the minds, people, to the
yeah,
idea that there could be this thing happening in the reef too. And so I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I think what you're doing is perfect. I think if you're going to make any changes, incrementally. I think if you just honor sort of the natural cycles of the sun, and you try to bring that in as best as you can, that's the jam. Playing around with stuff, that's not. And
no,
now cloud cover, what it's doing is it's just building an intelligence into the reef of respiration, and it's like it's having a chance to come down, and then it rests, and then it comes back up, and it gets. But that could be an extended photo period strategy, or that could be a farming
yeah.
strategy. It depends on what your juice is, what you're going for.
Adam told me a while back that I can't remember. I don't think he remember who it was, but somebody was telling him they were doing like 3 on, 4 off, 3 on, 4 on 24-hour cycles, and their corals were doing extremely well that way. And I'm like, I mean, sure they'll adapt. I don't know if there's a benefit to that, but kind of like cat naps or dog naps, like it was 3 on, 4 off, 3 on, 24 hours a day. That's how it rolled, and his
Mhm.
corals were doing well. I've never seen anybody really do that, but
I think
I don't know.
technically, like, anything is really, I think that's probably where the research, that is not something that can be quantified through scientific testing. It has to be on a philosophical level, and you dive into that nature of this experience that's happening that can't be tested, it can't be observed. If you break out a microscope, you're going to get a little bit more, but you're really talking about a symphony that's happening, and it's a dance of life. And as long as you're giving it the right music, the right beat, and the right consistency, it's going to perform
Yeah,
regardless of what you do. You know what I mean? Think about it.
yeah,
They're adaptive.
oh, for sure.
And when you can see that they're adaptive, then that's when you can really start to believe that they have more intelligence than we can even understand.
Oh yeah, no, they adapt to anything and everything. It's crazy how much these adapt and how much they change just from one system to the other. I don't know here. That
Hmm.
big red. Let me show you. That big red table that's in the house is actually. I cut a chunk off. It's right here. It's like almost orange
Yeah,
with
I see that.
greens. Like it's super bright compared to that red table in the house, which is just a dull look. Let's see here. That's the same exact coral. I cut it off and brought it out here, and it's just so much brighter in this tank right
So here's
there.
the thing. You could take and have exact same parameters. You could have the exact same light, the exact same par, the exact same everything, and you could still see this happening. And that's
Yeah,
where you
it's a
have to
trick.
really, yeah, you have to start looking at this differently, because when we're looking at colors and color schemes and things, they typically will hold value, but yours is you've got some wilds in there, and that's the beauty of wilds, is you just never know what's going to
What you gonna
unfold.
get? Nah, that's why I like them.
And the
Back in the day,
layers.
you used to always buy those at the local fish stores. They come in these little brown turds. You get them for 25, $30 and throw them in your tank. And 6, 7 months later, it starts to unwrap like a present, and something new every time. Never knew what you're gonna get. They don't seem to do that no more though. I
Yeah,
can't
no
find that
doubt.
at those any stores out here.
So
Not
anything else going on
not
with the
many
tank?
people in Vegas, huh?
Anything else going on with the tank?
No, not much.
Everything. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good catch up. I mean, uh, based on what I see now, I mean, yeah, so you're dealing with a little bit of algae. You'll get over that. That's no big
Yeah.
deal. Um, Everything looks great, man. So, great job keeping that thing going through the holidays, because sometimes things can get a little bit off during that time of the year, and then that can kind of
Oh yeah.
somehow spill into the reef. And it's good to see systems that can thrive through those times of the year. So, good job on that, man.
It's one of this system's on autopilot, just like the display. And I mean, this one's only 2 or 3 months old right now, but the less you play with them, the better they do. The only thing I do is keep the top off filled up and the chemicals when it needs it. That's about it. Empty the skimmer.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
do a lot
I
of
love
water
it.
changes out here on this one. I haven't been doing them so much on the one in the house, which I need to. I'm mixing salt water right now. That's that noise in the background. Tomorrow I'm gonna change water in both of them and clean them up. Get a 4 days off, so because I work 4 10s, which I'm not used to. I'm used to working like 5 a.m. to 1:30, so I had time
Right.
every day to get stuff done. But now I work 6 to 4:30 every single day because we're working 10-hour days. But then I get like this, I get a 4 day weekend this weekend, but then I only get Saturday and Sunday off next weekend. So I've had to adjust and rearrange a lot of stuff because on those days off, I got to go do maintenance on other people's tanks. And then,
Right.
so now, like on these 4 day ones, I'm like, okay, I can go handle those. I can handle mine and then get stuff done around the house. And it's fine. Just had to rearrange my schedules and learned how to go to work when it's dark and get home when it's dark. I'm not used to that.
Well, you'll get it, man,
Nah,
and
we
in
are.
time, as you continue to, do what you're working on in the background, that will come through, and you'll be able to make that
Yeah.
your focal point. So, it's all good, dude. You'll get there.
No, for sure. It's the
So-
website's up, but it's like you can't really find it on Google. If you go to Google maintenance in Las Vegas or Henderson or wherever, it's because all the bots and all the stuff that crawls the websites and gets all just it takes like 2 months for that to get up there before the search engines start picking it up. And but it's a work in progress. I'm not really too worried about it right now because if I had a bunch of accounts, then I wouldn't probably be able to do my job, or something's going to take a hit once that gets real busy.
Right. Well, the
I mean,
most
ultimately, the
important thing
goal
is
is
your
to do
reach.
that full time, but there's going to be that shift of okay, well, it's a part time thing right now, okay, but it's full time. Something's got to give, and I got to make those decisions and figure that part out.
And in this time, that's a good problem to be having, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's all good, man. So all right, yeah, that's good, man. So you got the background business is being worked on. That's awesome. How about what's going on with battle corals? Are you in the middle of a battle corals
Yeah,
test
there's
right now,
actually
or
two of them are wrapping up. One is the unnamed All Stars. Whoever wins that one's going to get to name the coral, and that was like all the past winners from the last several years or so. I never even made it into that one because I hadn't won any of those competitions at that time. Jason's in there. I haven't paid too much attention to it because I'm not really working on that one. But the Letty yellow tip that's back there, that one's ending right now. That's going to be done this month. Let me shut these flow off.
What's that one called?
That's the old school Paletti yellow tip.
Oh yeah, man, I remember that.
Yeah,
That was a
it's
sweet
starting to grow
coral.
algae on it. The dinos burned some of the skin, so it's growing algae. That one's done. And then these two are growing. That's the Cops Cali Cali. And then on the bottom, and the top
Uh-huh.
one is a werewolf. This one here. So battle corals. Oh, it's on Humblefish, but that's battle corals. So those two just started like 2 months ago. And then yeah, there's some in the display. And then I actually just joined this one here. It's from Putang Reefs. They just started one. That's their Loki Moki, some kind of millie. I just got it actually like 2 days ago. But the rest of the battle corals ones are in here. They're doing well. Oh, actually, I'm just walking around in circles. That one is the Orange Blast. It hasn't done anything in my display, so I moved it out here to see if it'll grow. I don't know. I'm losing on that one, getting my ass kicked. The other ones I'm doing pretty well. I mean, they're
So how
hanging
many
with.
contests are you currently in?
I'm in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. And so how many are running that are atoms like through battle corals?
6 of them.
Oh, okay. So
So
he's
we do
running
like a
that many
spring
contests
grow
at this
out.
point?
So we do like a spring grow out, like 3 corals, and then a fall grow out, 3 corals.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
those are wrapping up right now. This is one of them here. This is Kaleidoscope. This one's actually only 3 or 4 months in. This thing's growing like crazy.
Damn.
And then that one's not doing too well down there. That's the Bozo. That one, and then this is the Kaleidoscope. That one's doing actually really well too. That one's was just a little frag a couple months ago, and it's been taking off. It's doing well. But
Maybe
that orange,
maybe Adam gave you an under branch just to kind of pair things up a little bit.
I don't know. The orange
Adam.
blast. I think the orange blast is got some photo inhibition or something. Like I don't know. See if the halides will wake it up. If they don't, then it's got to be too much light.
Yeah, just move it under the rack for a spell and
Yeah,
let it get craving the light and then start giving it the light
really
back, you
hasn't
know?
done anything. And I
So
know because that's one of Adam's pieces. There's actually 2 of them. One's called the Orange Blast, and the other one's Sorbet or something like that. It's the same
oh,
coral, but he's got it listed twice on the site. Same picture, 2 different names. You know how it is. He doesn't like the name game, but um, Jason, Jason AK, the guy in Alaska who's part of the battle crew, he had one for a while, and he's like, it never really did nothing until I put it in lower light, and then it took off. So
what's Jason's handle? I wonder if I'm
Jason AK.
oh, I think it sounds familiar. Well, I'll
He's
have
on
to
Reef to Reef. He's not really on any other social medias at all. He doesn't really Instagram or do anything.
it's
He
like
kicks ass in these grow outs though. He's the one that won the laser melon. He's won a few of them actually. He's
yeah, I
running the
mean,
old photons, and then he just got the meridians. He's running both. I really like the color in his tank, so I think that's why out here I got the metal highlights, which is fine. But if I could find me a 63-inch photon, I might put it on the display with the meridians just to get more white in there. They do have the new 14Ks out. I haven't seen them in person or tried them, but the old
I got the
photons,
old
man, they're
32,
just
man.
so
If you
bright. Yeah.
I got the old 32 if you just want to put 2 side by side. But
Because when he
anyway,
takes pictures, he doesn't have like a lens on his camera. No, he takes pictures and it's just white. It's just pure white, which I like. I'm not a huge fan of the Windex blue tanks.
no, I have that the photon I was interchanging out, but I finally have made the sort of when my change from T5s will happen when the ATI breaks, bro. So we could be talking in 10 years and we could still be talking about T5s from in 10 years from now, God willing.
I see people giving them away out here all the time.
Yeah, well,
ATIs, tech lights. There was just a tech light popped up the other day. I'm like, damn, I ain't heard of those ones in
bro, if
years.
you find a tech light, man, I might even have to have you just hold on to it for me and give you the money for it. Dead serious. I used to have a Tech 6 bulb T5. It was my first entrance into the T5 realm in
Yeah.
2006, and I have never looked back. And I had it over a 75 tank, dude, and I was
I think that's what
nothing
this
but
one is.
smitten.
I don't know if it's a 48 or a 60 inch, 6 bolt tech light. My buddy's got it. The other guy that I bought these metal highlights from a couple months ago, he had an 8 bulb ATI sitting in his garage. Like, anybody wants this, let me know. And then a fish store was like, I got one that needs a ballast. If you want it, you can have it for free. It's easy to spot. I'm like, yeah, I know. I like T5s for supplemental. I just never liked them when for overall. It's just that blanket of light. I like a little shimmer. I've
Mhm.
always been a metal highlight fan. That's why I kind of like the LEDs. They got the shimmer too, but the T5s just drowned it out. But it's so bright, and the corals love it. I mean, they respond so well to T5s. Just never been my forte. I like the glitter.
It's one of those. It's an eye adaptive thing, like anything else. It's like right now, if you walked into my house and saw my peak photo period, most people would just be like, "That is ugly." Like seriously. I mean, because I've got 10K bulbs,
Yeah,
I've got Fiji purples. If you don't like that hue, it's hard to adjust to it. But once you do adjust to it, once you adapt to it, it's quite nice. And the corals, that's the main thing, is I've never seen corals behave like they behave under a KZ Fiji purple. I mean, it's probably
yeah.
one of the most interesting things that I've ever seen. So I there's a place for it in my heart, but like I think it's all doable, dude. Like, I don't
No,
think
it
that
is.
I won't hold on to any one tech because I just don't believe in it. But I think it's important with the LED is just like you were saying a minute ago is we gotta incorporate what the light really encompasses in that full spectrum array. We don't have
Yeah.
to, but if we really want to drive the health, I think that's an important
Well, I
aspect.
know
But
like Adam's running the old school Iwaski 400 watts, 6,500 Ks on his with the Meridians. And when I get corals from him, the colors on them are insane. And I'm like, I know it's coming from that daylight. I'm running the 14K Phoenix on here, but I'm thinking about
nice.
switching to the 6,500s because I'm almost out of these bulbs. I mean, I
Are
probably
those
got another
singles or doubles?
doubles.
Uh huh.
So I got like another year and a half's worth, probably. Depends when
So
these
are
ones
those the
burn out. But
Phoenixes?
yeah, you can't find them no more. You can't buy them. They're hard to find
And
double ended. Radium's
the
still making
the
all the
Phoenix
single ended
was
bolts.
yeah, the Phoenix was the bulb, dude. Like
Yeah,
for a
that's what I run
double-ended
on here.
bulb, I don't think that there is a better. Guys, calm down. I'm just turning on the light. My dogs are. I got chihuahuas, dude. They go crazy if you do anything. Um, it's okay, buddy. There ain't nobody out here. Nobody's coming to see us. So anyway, I just turned on the light because I just
It's all
realized
good.
like my tank's going off. But well, yeah, bro. I mean, like yeah, the full spectrum, man. Like, it really does mean something in the overall thing. You only are committing to a 4 or 5 hour window anyway. So,
Yeah,
the neat thing about it for me, and you know this because you've been at it for so long through different techs, is just the layers of colors that can really come forward under white lighting. Most people are like, well, it's blue that you see all these radical colors. And I'm like, well, it is and it's not because
yeah,
I've seen layers and it's the subtle
it
things.
is.
It's the hues, it's
I
the,
think one of the
the soft
biggest things is like
transition.
everybody misses the old Fiji yellow leathers. They're still out there. They're green now underneath these blue lights.
My
Guarantee if
buddy
you
just
threw any of
got one.
those underneath the 6,500 Ks, they would turn bright yellow again, just like they were back
Mhm.
in the day.
There is nothing to me that stands out more, like, if you were to walk into somebody's home and see, like, a large tank and then see, like, acros and stuff, but somewhere in that top structure, underneath right up underneath a metal halide, like a real white appearing metal halide, to see that Fiji yellow, even though it's
Yeah.
a soft coral, I just don't even know that people realize just how freaking special of a coral that is when you get it to bring when that yellow comes through and it's underneath that white spectrum.
Yeah.
There's something there that I can't even bring forward in words. So I'll just leave it at that. It's that special to me.
There's not. I know Walt Smith's still around. Supposedly he lives out here in Vegas, not too far away from me. One of these guys I know, he's like, yeah, I know Walt. I seen him at the show. I'll have to introduce you to him. He could probably get you stuff from Fiji if you want it. And I'm like, really? So
My buddy
I've
just
never
got
met him.
one. He's got one from that one guy here in Central Florida that was just featured. He's I forget his name. He was featured on Worldwide Corals. He's got all these massive tanks, and he's like a real big collector over here in the Central Florida area. But yeah, he's friends with him or whatever. And I was at his house. He told me to come pick up a yellow hammer from the guy's tank, a 24K golden hammer that I put in not too long ago, and so he's like, "Yeah, check it out." And I was like, "Okay." It was shut down. I was like, "Oh, okay, it's a leather, cool." And he's like, "Dude, you know what that is, right?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, That's a Fiji yellow." I'm like, "Oh my god, dude." I was like, "When that drops one," and he's like, "Yeah, I know, but I've already got." I'm like, "Ah."
A list.
I'm like, "Oh shit, there's a list going already." Well, no, I think
Yeah.
it came with the old when it drops one, it needs to go back to back to where it
Yeah.
came from, kind of thing, which is totally cool, man. Like, I that's what I love so much about the hobby is that kind of stuff right there. Like some acro geek like me is just tripping out and just like crazy over a yellow leather. Who would think? But yeah,
Ah,
it's
they're
cool.
cool. And these torches love the light. The hammers don't love these lights in here. But even with these metal, I mean, these torches that I got in here, they're hitting 700 par with the metal highlights, and they're just glowing. They love it.
Mhm.
But all the hammers, they don't like it. They peeled out on me. Had to move them.
I mean, I could get into all that stuff, and I'm going to leave it be. But I can tell you that I went from LED back to T5. From you would think, okay, yeah, well, the acros are going to be like totally stoked on that, right? And you would think, oh, well, the LPS, they're going to be upset. You know what
No,
happened,
they
dude?
exploded.
I, bro, you've seen some of the videos recently,
Yeah.
and I mean, people are like, dude, your A cans are sick. I'm like, I don't even keep A cans. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just like spot feeding them twice a week, but freaking
Yeah.
crop dusting them with whatever food I'm feeding them, and I guess they just like it. So
I
I
have
guess
a
that's the
colony
way.
that's in my display that I got.
Muted out. Wow. If you can hear me, you muted out. I think it's him, not me.
Oh,
But
there. You there? You hear
okay,
me?
cool. Yeah, I
Oh,
got you now. It's all good.
flip on. Yeah, these ones back here.
Oh, I do that all
Haven't
the time when I put the
done
yeah.
nothing. Yeah, the clip hit the mute
Oh, look
button.
at that.
These ones used to be cool, but
Yeah.
they're sitting underneath metal highlight are and they glow. They love it.
They remind me of this Acan head that I have. This like, do those have like a orange and peach and stuff in them? Like kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, that's a different kind.
This
You don't see them.
one, this one here is kind of like a rainbow. It's got the
That one's
green and
nice.
yellow. And these are what they call the Mardi Gras or whatever. It's green and purple. But those ones, they're sitting under metal highlights and they love it. But not the ones in my house and the display. They don't. They lost their color and I don't feed them though. I think that's another thing. These guys get a lot of food because they're up here. When I dump the fish food in, I see them open up and there's just so much stuff
Mhm.
floating around in here that I think they're getting fed. And that might be the thing. I don't know. I've never tried feeding them guys.
I just am like this, man. Like I need phosphate, and so Reefroids is my
Yeah.
avenue that I would rather use. And so I just, dude, take a a turkey baster and go in and mix it in some water
Yeah.
and then just go right over them and hover it and just and let it go on top of them. Shut the flow down for about 10 minutes and then kick everything back on. And but see in bare bottom, detritus is constantly flying around. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's an orientation that's causing them to want to perpetually feed sort of like an acro in your system.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm gonna be stoked on it
No,
actually.
my experience with acans has always been they don't grow. I'm like, I can buy a frag and I'll have that thing for 2 years and it might grow one head. Like it's the slowest growing corals I've ever had. But I've never really fed them like I know people feed them pellets, benef
Been a reef they love,
pellets or
dude.
whatever. Reef, yeah. I've never actually fed them. Maybe I will with these guys to see what they do.
And I think, I mean, like that's what I've been doing. I've taken them in 6 months. I've taken a two the three polyp frags, maybe four on some, to about the size of tennis balls.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, not tennis ball, between a golf ball and a tennis ball. Yeah, it's probably between a golf ball and a tennis ball, but you know what I mean, like a good size,
Yeah.
a good size circle. Probably 25 to 30 on each one, I would imagine,
That's
maybe
cool.
more. But it's the luck of the draw. My acros haven't done squat. So now they're coming around. I mean, now I'm starting to see some really crazy shit happening, but it's
Yeah.
all in the effort, man. When last time we talked, you know me, dude. I've been doing probiotic,
Yeah.
bacteria, carbon dosing. I've been doing that jam since 2006, and I finally said I got to do something different. So through talking with you, Alan, doing these reef hangouts, I said, you know what? If I'm gonna be a regenerative farmer, and I'm gonna practice holistic health practices for myself, why am I doing this thing any differently? And so I said, I really need to step back here. And I did. I took a massive step back and I just said, forget it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I took the sock offline. I took the carbon out. I took the zeolites out. I stopped dosing carbon. I stopped dosing bacteria. Stopped all of that. And you want to know what it is now? It's a Berlin. It's a Berlin.
Yeah. Berlin
All it is.
systems.
Just a Berlin method. There's no carbon.
Yeah.
There's no removal of phosphates. There's no nothing. In fact, I'm at the point because of this change. Keep in mind before I made the change, you ready for this? Between 30 and 40 ppm on nitrates. Phosphates were plummeting. There's this thing that was just it was doing this thing. And I've been experiencing this for years. I stepped back and that's what spawned me into the direction of taking learned experiences through the soil, learned experiences through health and the gut
Yeah.
biome, and then to try to frame it all into the reefing thing, and that's what's coming forward. And now I'm sitting here kicking myself, saying, really, dude, how much money have I spent? Like, and so I'm not this is not an effort to say there's a right way, a wrong way, or poo-pooing
Definitely
on this
not.
thing or that thing. That's not what this is about. I think it's me stepping back and saying, nature, let me see what nature's going to do, and let me just go from there. Because now, if I run an alk test, a calcium test, if I run a phosphate, a nitrate, any of these tests, because I'm only using a protein skimmer, I now can know what was really going on in the reef. I don't have to weigh perspectives on, well, what's doing this? What's doing that? How's this interplaying? I
Yeah.
can remove all the noise, just push it all aside. And now I can say, I can truly see the way nutrients are flowing through the system.
Yep.
And now I can step back even further. And now I'm 0, 0. I can't hold a nitrate value or a phosphate value. I feed 3 times more than I was before.
That's how my display was. And then I started dosing the ammonia and it brought the nitrates up and it pushed the phosphates down to zero. So then I was having to dose phosphates a lot. I think it finally bound up in all the rocks in there because now that runs at like zero point 0.3. My nitrates are around 10 and my phosphates on the display are about 0.3. Out here in the frag tank, it just eats it up. There's only 2 fish in here too. I don't have 35 fish like in the house, but out here I'm dosing 20, 30 milliliters of ammonia to make up for the fish that aren't in here. And this one, my nitrates running like 5 and my phosphates are like 0.01, like real low. So I'm still having to put phosphates in these. That
And so
Rob's food's pretty heavy in phosphate. I've been using it a lot, but it's still at the tank. Just the corals are cycling it, is what it is.
that's exactly what I was just about to say. Your corals in your frag system are literally the filter. You could probably
Yeah,
kill the protein skimmer or go to so dry that it barely collects at this point because they are literally becoming a living filter. That's what
yeah.
Alan and I have been getting into. Is the
Lou had talked about that. Lou and the Tropic Marin guys, they had that YouTube video I seen years ago, and they were out in a dirt field, and there was just like all nothing but rocks, and they like put a rock, and they're like, "This is your coral," and they put one over here, and they put one over there, and they're like, "Now all this open landscape in between them is just real estate for algae and all these other problems," because they were talking about like cycling tanks with corals right from the beginning. Like if you plant the corals everywhere and don't give anything any room to compete, you can do it that way and it'll take off from the get-go and you don't have to worry about it. And he was always big on pushing phosphates, really big
it's
on it.
so what I'm starting to learn, and I have help, so I'm going to leave it at that. But what I'm starting to learn is that there is a holobiont zone that is a microbiome. Think of an aura. Think of like
Yeah,
a protective aura around you and your energy, right?
yeah,
Now think of this around the coral. This is what regulates. It's made of fungi. It's made of bacteria. All these different microorganisms are in this symphony, right? And
yeah,
so when you're planting massive not colonies to start a tank or lots of fragments, you're bringing that intelligent bacteria driven microbiome that's associated to each coral,
yeah,
and that all comes in and they begin to share in that communication. It's essentially it's out competing these other spaces by doing so.
yeah.
So it's filling those voids that they're trying to illustrate there.
I had read something about that a couple years ago, when the whole microbiome testing came out, and people were like, "Yeah, if you take it from near a coral versus a rock over there, like it's totally different. Like each coral has its own little microbiome that sticks around. And that's why it's so important to have really high flow and get it to wash that out so it can reproduce and just do its thing. That shit's so far over my head. I'm learning a lot about it now, but
It's not,
Alan,
you
every time
just
he talks, I just sit in the back corner and let him go. I'm like, dude, it's way over my head. I mean,
it's not, man. You
I'm
know what it
learning
is?
it
It's
though.
it's there. It's just there represented in a different language that
Yeah,
it's just a language block, right? So in other words, it's framed in a different way that it's just your way of putting it together and bringing it forward is hard to bring that because you've already experienced it, you've already dealt with this, you've already lived this,
yeah,
you've how many times your hands have been in the water, how many times you've done that, that's all in that experience. So it. It's just like bringing it forward, and that's like what I'm
yeah,
trying to work on in the background is trying to somehow bring all of that forward. It's not necessarily like let me explain this properly. It's a way of being able
just
to understand what's going on inside your brain and being able to put sentences together. It's hard
yeah.
sometimes.
Like layman terms.
It
That's all
is,
it is.
man. So that's that thing that I'm leaving. I'll just jump into a little bit of my thing and then I'll leave it be and go back. But I left it at the circadia thing. I left it at that intelligence that's building in the quorum sensing. And that is another layer to that microbiome and that holobiont. So
Yeah,
think of it like this. Each coral has its own microbiome there's also a
Correct.
larger microbiome that's going on inside the entire system. And there's
Yeah.
also organisms that are also sharing in those spaces too. So there's an overall, and then there's this other. So there's layers and layers and different things working together. And so it's building in intelligence into this apparatus where predictability is built in. That's what Alan is able to bring forward through the AquaWiz.
Yeah.
He's literally able to show you how the corals are already knowing the photosynthetic period minutes before through feeding response and through mineral uptake. He's able to see this thing like literally unfolding, and it's a really interesting dynamic when you think about it, because it shows that there's something maybe a little bit bigger. And I'm not trying to know it. Seriously, I'm not. It's too complex. But what I'm trying to do is learn how to work with it. Right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to understand. What can I do to do my best as the guy that's trying to respond to the reef instead of drive the reef? Because literally, this is my change in life. I'm no longer trying to push this reef or drive this reef. I'm now stepping back and saying, what do I need to do to serve it instead? And that's the transition of thought.
It's a good attitude to have. I mean, they're gonna do what they do. It doesn't matter how we tweak it. It's always gonna adjust, and it's just nature's gonna take its course. No matter what you do to this thing, it's
Hmm.
always gonna balance out into its own. Whether it's for the better or the worse, but it will balance itself out and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, if you let it take control and just keep it simple. I mean, keep your calcium and alkalinity and magnesium up. That's the biggest thing, really. I don't even know that nutrients. I mean, obviously, you can see the feeding responses. It's good. You don't want to bottom them out because they say you get dinos, but I've had dinos when my nutrients were up high. So I don't even know that that's really true. Who knows? I feel like there might be something else that's missing, and that's when those things take over. I don't know so much that it's nutrients. It might be a good indicator if your phosphates and nitrates are bottomed out, but I don't think that's what brings them on. You know?
I'm framing it in what I'm trying to work on in the architecture of what I'm working on. I'm trying to frame it as inputs, sort of like in the when you think of like gardening, right? When you
Yeah,
think of when you're gardening and you're looking at like what you're looking for on the label, as far as it's nitrogen and it's phosphorus and it's potassium or potash, whatever we refer to it. You're looking at those values, and I think yeah, man, it's you're looking at the those values, but you're also looking at the third value, and it's potassium. And so where I'm going with this is I'm saying, well, this is a mineral, but we're talking about nutrients, but what this is in the reef world. So instead, what I'm saying is like minerals are inputs, just like phosphate, like food. These are also inputs. And I think what Alan and I are trying to talk about in the background a little bit too is like, what is the shell of an incrustation that you fed your tank? What is that comprised of? The same thing that your coral is, the same thing that your bones are. It's the same minerals, right? And so
yeah.
if it's moving through the system, then it's safe to say that they're probably getting minerals through feeding response as well.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So
It's so hard to say.
So it's just a way of framing it that I think if people can understand that it's not that chemistry is completely separate from biology when it comes to inputs, it's actually sort of all interconnected as fertilizer, if you will.
Yeah,
And that's a way of sort of looking at this from a broader perspective. And I think as you do, you realize, okay, well, how important if you're managing a soil system, how important is it that you dose trace minerals? Is it really that important? Or is if you're doing a living soil system, now if you're doing something that's like not, then you're the one that's the controller, and then that's a different approach. So it really depends
yeah.
on how you're managing the system. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong way, dude. I just think like it's just trippy to see how we can install nature and get amazing results by stepping back and just really doing, I don't want to say nothing, but what I'm trying to say is do a lot less.
Yeah, no, for sure. And keeping your hands out of it and stop messing with it. Especially everybody loves a tinker. I do myself. I always want to play with something, but the more that you don't, the better off you are. If you're gonna make a change, make a slight change and wait like a month to see any kind of results before you start making another change or whatever. It just nothing happens fast. You gotta let everything balance out and take its course, and then you can see your results. But it takes, I don't even know if a month's enough time, really.
Yeah,
I've
it's good
made
advice.
changes. I've made
That's
changes and I've never noticed anything really.
it's sound
Outside of
advice. It really is sound advice because like the step back I took, now I know what's going on. I have an easier way of interpreting what's going on by taking away all the noise so that I can like at least say, okay, well now I kind of have an idea of what's going on here. And now I can understand as I build this thing out. Like now I know what my nutrients truly are. Now I know, okay, well maybe I add sand now. Maybe sand is a good option or add more fish. I can grow my
yeah,
my aquarium into grow my system into the microbiome and into the reef, mature it slowly and adapt it slowly into evolving into a reef. Yeah, so Rich said I touch my tank more than I touch my balls. For real. I don't know, man. I'd have to think about that one. I
I
touch
don't
my
think
tank.
so.
I've got my hands in the tank, but I've tried to work these little skewers like battle brushes freaking back to battle corals because
I'm
what Adam
seeing
thinks
it.
that battle brush is the best part of
Oh, dude, love those things.
bro. I love them. I've got two of them that are worn out, bro, like down to the nothing,
Really?
dude. I put one on in a little acrylic rod and I like zip
Mhm.
tie it to extend it to make it longer. Like ah, got hooked up here. You see this thing?
Yeah,
So that way
nice.
I can go into the tank, and get in there on the rock
Yeah,
and hit the algae and whatever I want to hit without putting my hands in the tank. So yeah, I mean there is something to be said, I think, a little bit about like trying to keep your hands out of the tank if you can avoid it. Like if you can do it, you know. I would also say that, for me, I don't use antibacterial soap on my hands at least. And so when I go into the tank, I know that I'm not introducing antibacterial products into the system.
yeah.
And that's something that I kind of want to be conscientious of is, what I'm touching before if I do go into the tank, how am I prepping my hands? I would even say that probably just rinsing them off in tap water is probably better than doing anything.
Typically all I do. But if I come home from work and I see corals touching, I just grab them and move them. I don't even do that. And I've got aluminum and iron welding dust all over me. It's bad. But
Don't do an ICP test.
yeah, I know. It's going to tell me I'm full of my aluminum's super hot. Oh, it's
Yeah,
bad.
Rich said something always failing. Yeah. Well, you listen, something's always the more complicated. Like, I mean, we can make these things as complicated as we want, but just it's like I remember when I was a kid, dude. I used to be into car stereos, and I got really really into it, and I
That
built this
was,
elaborate system, and got into enclosures, and I bought the most high end speakers, the most high end amps. All of it was separate Boston Series Pro speakers in the front, back. I had a Denon head unit, a Denon multi-channel amplifier. I had a Yamaha EQ. And here's the problem that I ran into: is the more elaborate I built it in, the more things that were in line to fail. And that's the problem I started realizing is how expensive it got on me. Is
yeah.
when something failed, the whole thing was down. So yeah, it was just my only. I think back on those days, like
I
when I
did
was a
that for
kid.
years.
Oh
I'm still
yeah,
into that.
Are you really?
I had a car stereo. Oh yeah, I had a system in my bedroom before I even owned a car. It was hooked up to a 12-volt car battery and then a charger. I had a full system with two MTX Blue Thunder 12s and a
Yeah, I
deck,
remember
and
those.
I had I had so much shit. I was looking. I still have my old Kenwood EQ laying around here somewhere. I was trying to find it. When you started talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I still got my EQ from like 91 or something.
Bro, I came pulling up
Try.
in my little car. I had a little Toyota Corolla, and I came pulling up, and these guys were knocking 15s, and I came with
Yeah,
four Nakamichi eights, four knock eights and half-inch cubic airspace,
yeah.
and they didn't even know what the hell hit them. They're like, "That's not eights." I was like, "Yep, four 8-inch Nakamichis with a half a cubic foot of airspace." Those things were putting so much bass down. It was ridiculous, man.
Dude, it's
I was
yeah.
into it back
Even
then.
the little bazooka tubes back then were rocking.
Hell yeah.
Not the
You
ones with the
remember
built-in amps. You had to get the ones by themselves though and throw your own amps in there. But there's out here we got Vegas SPL. They're a bunch of bass heads. They're hitting crazy numbers. One guy, Greg, his truck, he's got 615s in the back or something in the
oh
wall, but he's hitting like 178 dBs. Like it's insane. 1 inch thick plexiglass windshield. It's fully bolted in. Like everything. The Suburban, I had to build him a plexiglass windshield because every time he turned it on, it just blow it out. The whole thing is reinforced, 1/4 inch steel on the roof everywhere.
holy
These trucks are
can you even
crazy.
sit in it?
People do. They do demos. I've never sat in there. I can't breathe standing next to it when he turns it up. I mean, it just
I would
your
I'd be
shirt,
worried
everything, your
about a
hats
heart
blow
attack
off,
or
your hair
something.
stands up. Oh, dude, it's bad. People get in there, they think they can handle it, and they tap out after like 2 seconds. It's brutal.
Yeah, I don't want to have nothing to do with that at this age, bro. Friggin' yes. You know what I'm saying, dude?
I stand
But
about 10 feet away and it's still shaking everything in my body. I'm like, I couldn't imagine sitting down in that truck.
I used to have
It's cool though. It's fun.
my dream audio speakers I found in a pawn shop in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was talking to Rebel Reef last week. I was living in Cary, North Carolina, and I happened over to Fayetteville, and that's known as being a hell of a pawn shop town. And I was looking for some cool ass equipment, and I came into a pair of home audio, Polk Audio, old school, the ones that had the two mids and the tweet and it was a passive,
Plates,
it was
the
passive. The
plates.
sub, it didn't have no, there was no subwoofer. It
Uh,
was completely passive. It was airspace that was being driven through the mids, and it was a passive cone design. And we're talking from like the mid. Well, I'd say probably like either the late '80s, from like probably circa '88 to '94, somewhere in that time frame, like way back. But these things, man, I had them for over 15 years, and I finally let them go for nothing. And now I'm sitting here trying to find these speakers again. And dude, I don't even want to tell you like how much it would be if I wanted to try to replace those.
yeah, it's like the old strokers, the Sherman Vegas strokers. You can't find those things. Those things were insane back, and they're still badass today. But you don't really see them out there no more.
I don't really like
Oh,
the loudness anymore. I just like one thing I've always liked is crisp, like really like the super clean stuff,
beats.
like
Yeah,
Austin back in the day and Polk Audio and that
envy courts.
Soundstream,
Yeah.
Soundstream amps and there was just some
Yeah.
really high end stuff that I just
I was
I
always
I got
all
lucky.
Rockford Fosgate punch. That was my jam back in the day. I had MB courts for all my highs, but all my amps and subs and mids, they were all punch, Rockford Fosgates.
MB courts were good. I had a
Yeah.
6x9 MB court, like a dual, like they were good, dude. I mean,
Yeah. You get the little components. They had the mids for the doors and then your tweeters you put up in the pillars and all
mhm.
that fun stuff. I actually got to help my neighbor across the street. He's got a diesel. He's like, I bought a double din and I don't know what they did with all these damn wires in my dash. And I'm like, oh, I love doing car stereo. She's like, all right, I'll buy you a case of beer. You come over here and fix this for me. I'm like, no problem.
Hell yeah. I don't drink beer anymore, but back in the day, I know that language, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Well,
Nah,
dude,
they're good
anything
people.
else you wanna cover? Anything you want to bring out into the ether before we kind of wrap
Um,
things up?
not much. Just really, just hanging out, trying to find some spare time. Because everyone's like, "Oh, you're not on the socials no more." And this, and I'm like, dude, I just haven't had time. I get home from work, I'm tired. Plus, I've been sick all this week. I thought it was COVID. I finally took a test today, and it says it was negative, but comes and goes. Like I feel good, and then 2 or 3 hours later, I feel like dog ass, and then I feel fine again. But it started on Monday. Would not stop leaking, just constantly draining all day. And then no fevers or nothing. So I guess it's just a head cold. It sucks, but whatever. It's going away now. It's getting better.
Rich is a trip, man. Rich is a trooper, dude. He's
You're
always
on
like
mute.
in there for these lives, man. It's really cool, man.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, man. I'm good too, man. I'm enjoying the what's going on out there. And sometimes you have more time to get into the socials, and sometimes you don't. But you know, there's nothing that's too overwhelming that you're missing out there. It's the gears keep on turning out there. You know that. So
Got real quiet.
yeah, we hit that 2 hour mark.
What's that?
I said when we hit that mark. Remember in the beginning, I was telling you.
Oh, yeah, I
Well,
can barely hear you.
well, listen. You want to wrap it up like that? I
All right, man.
appreciate you, bro. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
for
being
sure.
here, man. Much love to you, and be well. And we're gonna catch up again real soon, bro. We'll catch up
Okay.
again real soon, dude.
All right, man.
Be
Take
well,
it easy.
dude.
Later.